only 3 or 4 people are raising their hands, but others are not rising. So what is means whether you people has been prepared or not prepared, I don't understand. But still, my expectation is whoever's there here, everyone should raise their hands, and then I need to pick up the people from that. So that is what my basic expectation on this. However, let me jump into the topic. So to discuss on this particular severity and the priority. So as I told you, right, so we have a lot of definitions and these things on things. So which I used to remember in such a way that priority talks about how soon that particular bug need to be fixed. And severity talks about how serious is that particular bug. It is big means what is the impact of this one. See now, the same way I think last time one of our colleague or given an example in terms of an accident case. So now there are, I mean, I'll take the same example so that it would be quickly remembered, but I give the software example also. So here, as soon there is from natural calamity or anything met with an accident. So based upon the, for an example, there are 5 people in that particular vehicle, and then out of the 5 people, so 2 people has been injured badly, and then 3 people has been slightly injured. And then when they go to the hospital, so immediately, so based upon the seriousness of the patient, the doctor will pick up the particular 2 people. So this gives the order of priority. So always when it comes to the bugs, now it sees that what is the seriousness of that particular bug. Example now, what do you mean by the seriousness of the bug? So now when it comes to the priority and the severity, so as Ramakrishna defined that, so now we have uh, there are many critical, I mean, there are certain definitions for this one. So let me open that page also. Priority versus see why I chosen this particular link instead of all these particular links means many a times I have been done. So I have been seen it. So which content is really apt and fix it. So that is where I just jumped into this because there are certain topics which we need to refer and then certain topics which we shouldn't refer. Because it's not that they will give a wrong information, but what it mean to me is whether they updated that one thoroughly or not. So that is what the basic problem which we usually get it. So that's the reason. So always we will be getting into it. Now you can see the same thing. The explanation of this particular site and then explanation of this site would be completely different. So now here you can see that. So it is very easy for us to understand. So that's the reason I just taken this one for your references. So now when it comes to the types of severity and the types of priority. So here we'll be having critical, major, medium, low. Means is it that uh, it will be same in all the organizations which will be using it? Absolutely not. Some companies may use that, hey, high severity, medium severity, low severity. And some people will be saying that, hey, cosmetic, which is where the low would be calling as a cosmetic. And then some people call it as a S1, S2, S3, S4. So it all depends upon the organization to organization with the different names. But you don't need to worry about it. So just you need to adapt it to that particular organization changes. If they say that they need to use a 7, so now the definitions of the 7, it is common. So now what is this particular basic definitions which we can see on this one is it is critical. What do you meant by critical? What do you meant by a critical bug means? Critical severity means uh, if there is any showstopper in the application. So showstopper means without this particular functionality, I can't, I mean, the user can't make his journey. So then that is called critical. I mean, that particular issue is sub 1 or critical severity. Now, example for giving that particular critical severity means, see now, if it is a patient, so now there is a heavy bleeding. for the patient. So now we need to stop the bleeding. So that is what the critical. The same way, when it comes to the application, you wanted to make a payment. So the payment is not happening for this one. Or once they made a payment, the successful confirmation message is not coming for them. So these are the high critical severity issues which we need to fix it up. Or you are not able to logging in. So which these particular issues would be fall under the critical. So, or this is called 7 or high severity. So these are the things which we can keep as part of this. Okay. So what you meant by severity means severity, it talks about the seriousness of that particular bug. And because of that one, so what it will create a larger impact to the application. So that is what severity. Now in severity, we have basically 3 or 4. So now critical, major, medium, low. So now in this one, critical or high or S1. What do you meant by this one is it talks about the serious means it will have the impact on the showstoppers, means because of that particular showstopper, the complete application will not even can move further. So those things is as will be defined as part of the critical and major. So now this particular bug is really important, but it is not a showstopper. Means for an example, now I entered the username, I entered the password, I clicked the login button. It taken me for the home page. So now it is not stopped me. So now this is not a showstopper. I went into the home page. Now in the home page, the complete home page was not working. But actually speaking, I can go and for an example, now you can just in the point of Amazon, you can take it. So when you do payment, so now when you are trying to do, you selected for a particular product, and then the product you have been um, you have been selected that particular product, added the color, size, and then you put it into the cart. And now when you are going to the payment, so the address is not displaying for it. So actually that is an important functionality, but it is not stopping you to select that particular default address. So now what you need to do, it is mandatory that you need to go and select that particular thing. So by means you have been kept an option called default. So the address need to be selected as a default, but it is not selected the things. But what you have is you need to go and then you need to select that particular option. Then only it will start to work for it. So now, especially the people will be confusing in terms of high, medium, low. Means in the medium, we would be having this particular major, and then these both things would be covered. So because we don't wanted to give that particular hairline differences between each system. So now actually for the major, they certain times the critical and major would be mixed up. Certain times medium and major would be mixed up. So that is the reason. So it would be better if you understand means you can think always major and critical as anything which it was a showstopper. So those bugs has been considered as a high severity and medium bugs. So because of this one, so the desired behavior would be not happen, but that bug need to be fixed as soon as possible. But because that is not really creating an showstopper issue over there. And low priority, this is called a cosmetic issues. So I think in the last videos, I have been given a very detailed level of session. So that's the reason I'm not going into the details of this one. So expecting that you have been seeing that particular video. So cosmetic is nothing but, for an example, you have been, we know about the cosmetic surgeries, right? So nowadays, all the, means almost all heroes and heroines are making this particular cosmetic surgery. So they have all the things, the facial surgeries which they will be trying to do on it, but still to get more golden ratios. So they would be doing that particular surgery. Means it is not really mandatory and it is very important, but to make it some more effective. So those particular category of issues would be calling it as a cosmetic or it's a low severity. So clubbing these particular two things, major and critical, medium and then low. So major and critical, it is nothing but it is a completely a showstopper. Without fixing those particular things, the complete application would be impacted, and then it need to be fixed at any cost. Now, when it comes to the medium, so this will impact our working flow, but not it is not a showstopper. And low, this will not create any of the impacts or anything, but it will make that look and it's not only from the look and feel, so it makes the complete application so user friendliness. So that is where the low severity bugs would be there, in terms of the look and feel or in terms of the user friendliness. So these all things would be considered as part of low severity or cosmetic severity issues. Okay, so this is how a severity would be defined, and the classifications of these particular things would be defined on it. Now, coming to the priority. So in the priority also, see, now priority talks about how soon I need to fix this particular bug. Severity shows that, hey, how serious this particular bug is. Now, when the application, see, now here also it would be the same thing, right? So now, for an example, the payment was not working in the production. So now all those particular showstoppers will be having the high priority. So now this is was like a heart attack situation. Now a patient having a heart attack immediately need to be attended. So almost all the production bugs, means the bugs from the production, would be the high priority. Means in a production, if any particular user has been encountered with any particular issue, then that should be treated as a high priority. So then that particular high priority bug need to be fixed as quickly as possible, and then that would be released into the production. So this is called hot fixes. Hot fixes means as soon as possible they will take that particular bug and they will be fixing that particular bug quickly and then moving into the production. And medium, so now this, they can wait for a certain time. It is not that immediately they need to fix that particular bug. So now this is not like an heart attack situation. For an example, you have some ligament tear. So while you're playing, so you have a knee injury. So now you need to go undergo a surgery, but it is not that immediately you need to go for a surgery. So you can wait, but it is definitely you need to fix, means you need to go for a surgery for that. The same way, the bugs which are classified, that need to be fixed, but not as immediately that need to be fixed on this one. So this can be fixed during the course of time into the sprint, and then it can be released back. So those things are called medium priority and low priority. The low priority would be that it can't be fixed now. This can be deferred and fixed in the multiple sprints. So now this need to be fixed as soon as possible, means immediately that need to be fixed. And this can be fixed within the interval of time, means within that particular span of time, means within 4 or 5 days, which you need to fix it up and then send it. And then this one is not that we need to fix it in this particular 4 or 5 days. Either you can fix it now or you can fix it in the later part, which is after 10-15 days part also you can be fix this particular bugs. So now always you need to remember that priority only talks about what is, means on what priority you're going to fix this particular bugs. Severity talks about what is the seriousness or the impact of that particular bug on the application. So here high means, hey, go and fix this particular bug very quickly. Medium means, hey, this bug need to be fixed, but you can have certain breathing space and then we can fix on it, because these all things would be defined on one particular terminology, which is SLA, service level agreement. So now all these particular high priority bugs need to be fixed within the span of 4 hours to 8 hours is the maximum time which it need to be fixed. And medium priority bugs means it depends upon the organization to organization also, but any particular critical issues are there, means because critical severity issues are there, then the priority of that one also would be very higher. It need to be fixed very quickly. So this one, it will be given to 4 to 8 hours. This one, it would be given for 24 hours to 48 hours. And this can be, would be having a time limit of weeks. So within the time of 1 to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it can be fixed back. So this is where the SLS would be defined. And is this mandatory that within we need to fix for this one? It's not really. It depends upon the organization to organization. It will go and then have that one. Okay, so this is how the priorities would be defined and the classification of the priorities would be there and severity would be defined and then severity classifications would be defined with an examples. Now we looked after definition, a simple quick definitions and the classifications and with the examples we have been seeing it. Now, the most important thing which we wanted to see it is in terms of the particular combinations. Now, this is the most important thing. Usually nowadays, I don't think the people are asking this about it, but when good olden days, the people used to definitely ask on the severity priority because by this they can understand that what is your understanding on the classification of this particular bugs. So now here you can see it on the x-axis and the y-axis you will be having it. So these are the different quadrants. Now we'll be calling it as right. So 4 quadrants, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So let me put it here so that it would be easy for us to discuss. I just not pasting. Okay, so it is not pasting here. So here you can see it, right? In priority, you have low priority and urgent, and severity, critical and non-critical. So this is the area where you would be having low priority, low criticality. Sorry, this is the where. So this is where low priority and severity also non-criticality. So now, okay, if I written like this one, it would be quite confusing. Let me draw here so that it would be easy for us to understand on it. So if you see here, so this is what my quadrant. Okay, so I put this one as priority and then this is severity and this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and then this is fourth. Okay, so now here this is low and this is urgent and this is critical and this is non-critical. Okay, now when I have been defined the things in this particular pattern, now you can see that criticality and urgent. So now this is high priority and high severity. Now the priority is low because this is low and criticality is the severity is high, which is critical. So now priority is low and severity is high. Now here this is non-critical severity. So this is low severity and this is urgent priority, high priority. And here now this is low priority. So now I'll be giving this as a low priority and severity also non-critical. So both are low priority and low severity. Okay, so now these are the combinations which we need to discuss. So to discuss this particular things, this is very quite common. So this particular situation is very quite common. You can see it, right? High priority and high severity. By default, 80% of things you'll be getting in with this one. Means if the priority is higher, sorry, if the severity is higher, the priority is also higher. Example, hey, payment functionality, it is not working. Login functionality, it is not functioning. Or any particular showstopper functionalities means that particular thing will break down that particular application. So those severity is high and the priority is also high. That's the simplest example which we can easily get on this one. Now, let me go for the next quadrant. In this particular quadrant, severity is low. Means because of this one, the severity is low, but the priority of fixing this particular bug is very high. The example for this one would be, see now for an example, when you go for a page, company name is wrong. See, because of that company name, the severity of the, is it in creating any particular serious issues? No. But priority of that one is very important and very high, because of this one, I lose my credibility of the company. See, now, for an example, now we have a quality based company. Now, if my company name itself it is wrong, or I have my social media icons and these things, if those things itself it is not working, then how I can test the other category of applications and how I can assure the quality for other people? So that is the reason. So these are high in priority nature. So means you need to go and fix that particular thing, the logo issues, company name issues, or any particular terms and conditions, or any particular major workflows. So that the severity of that one is, means the seriousness of that particular bug is low, but it need to be fixed as quickly as possible. Now here the priority is low and severity is very high. Means even though it is a high severe bug, it is creating a seriousness in this particular bug, but the priority of this one is very low, which it means, for an example, version 1. Okay, let me take this example. I think I've taken the same example in the previous videos also. Swiggy. Swiggy Genie is there. Swiggy Genie means, it's Genie means you wanted to deliver any particular documents from one location to another location in the same city. For an example, in Hyderabad, I wanted to share these particular documents from Secunderabad to Amirpet. I need to send this one. So now these guys will come and take this particular documents and then it will deliver to the respective people. Or I made certain things which it can be transferred. So that is where Swiggy Genie. But Swiggy main functionalities are food orders and Insta. So these are the two things which it is working fine. If there is any particular bugs in this one, they will treat this one as a high priority. Swiggy Genie, this is in the beta version itself. It's not in the live. It is in the live, but it is in the beta version. The major functionality, what it was need to do is, the user need to come and select the sent address. He is not able to select that particular address. See, the severity, see now the basic purpose of this particular Swiggy Genie is to send this particular product to a particular person. Now, if I may not able to select that particular person address, then there is no point of having this particular application at all. So the severity of this one is very high, but the Swiggy will fix this particular bug in the later part of it. It's not to fix that one immediately. Even the aha example also we can take it. So certain times when I means in the initial point of time, when they have been launched, we are not able to go to the profile setting page and make the profile changes. Okay, not even the profile changes, that is not impacting. And certain times when I was clicking on the tab to open for the videos are not loading. See, now OTT means the basic purpose of the application is to open the videos and then we need to see the videos, right? Videos or movies. So itself it is not able to work, means that's a bigger bug. Now, so what they have been done is, so as this is a recent releases, as it's in the version 1, so still what they presume that is logging in and then whatever the latest movies it is there, whether it is working fine or not, and they will make this one to the default to the next release. Now I talked about this Genie, right? They wanted to fix this particular Genie in the next releases. So the priority of this one in the, this would be calling as a default, so that would be fixed in the next release, but the seriousness of this one is high priority. So these are, most of these particular category of bugs will be falling into the deferred state. So deferred state is nothing but that is an issue and accepted and it have a high importance, but that will not fix in that particular current release. That can be fixed in the upcoming releases. So this is called deferred status or deferred bugs. And majority of these things will falls into this category. Means they have high severity, but priority of fixing that particular bugs would be in the next upcoming releases. And this is low priority, low severity. Means these all things are cosmetic issues. Cosmetic issues are nothing but like in the terms and conditions, there are certain spelling mistakes, because you'll have a lot of paragraphs, right? In that particular paragraph, there is certain spelling mistakes. and the color of that particular text is completely different. So they are going to change the color, alignment, and then spelling mistakes. So these all things would be considered as a cosmetic issues or low priority. So now this is fixing them is low priority. Seriousness of this one is having less priority, because when the developer have good enough time, then they will take this particular bucket. So all these particular cosmetic bugs will be given when they have good enough time, they will be trying to fix these particular issues. So quadrant 1 is high priority. So immediately they wanted to fix these things. And quadrant 2, so the seriousness is also, it's okay, less, but still that need to be fixed. So that would be prioritized and then that would be tested. And quadrant number 3, the priority would be less, but the severity of that one is very high. So at the third, fourth quadrant would be low priority and low severity. So this is how the combinations which you need to understand, and then we need to read on it. So this gives us what is severity, what is priority, and then what are the different types of severity priority with an examples and with the different combinations. So I'll pass over here. Any questions? Any questions?
No press.
Okay, fine then. So now, uh, by this, so majority of the topics we have been completed. So now, by this itself, you need to understand that SDLC combining to the STLC, STLC combining to the TCLC, TCLC combining to the BLC. So these are the things which you have been taken as part of interlinking between these life cycles. So this is the one of the important topic which we need to understand. And we have been understood that different type of SDLCs like waterfall, agile, RAD models, and then we have been discussed V models, and these all things we have been discussed, different SDLC models. Then we have been discussed the testing levels, testing pyramid, testing methodologies. So these all classifications also we have been discussed about it. Now, as part of this bug lifecycle, we have been seeing the test case, the bug creations, and the classification of severity, priority, and logging of the bug. So these all things also we have been seeing it. And as part of the test cases, so creation of the test cases and what are the different type of test cases we have it. So we have been classified and then we have been seen on this one. Now, the most important topic which we need to jump it is types of testing which we wanted to go. And before going to this particular types of testing, I just wanted to ask one quick question to make sure that you people has been understand. What are the different type of test cases we have? What are the different type of test cases we will be writing it?
Positive and
Positive
negative.
and negative test cases. Functional and non-functional test cases.
Integration test cases. User interface test cases.
Now, this classification depends upon, it's a broader term. In terms of types, testing types. Okay. So now this particular, when we someone asks you, hey, what are the different types of test cases, means you ask them a question that, hey, are you talking from the types of testing? Then you can say that, hey, we have functional cases and non-functional cases, and then integration cases also. There are a lot of other things also comes, but when I talk about these types of testing, you'll understand. When some, you need to be very specific. So when it is specifically talked from the category of testing, so then it would be having functional test cases, non-functional test cases, and integration cases. But when it comes to uh, normal general type, when it has been asked, it would be asked from positive cases, negative cases, or edge cases. So these are the different categories of the test cases. But usually, always you need to remember that uh, what means how what are the different type of test cases we'll be writing it is we write the positive test cases, we write the negative test cases, and then we need to write the field verifications. What do you mean by edge cases, by the way? What do you mean by edge cases?
Boundary analysis.
Boundary analysis is not an edge case.
While writing the test case, if a password has to get to the mobile, if suddenly the mobile switched off, at that time, what the scenario will be? That is the example for the education, Krish.
It's a good one, Deepika. So the edge cases are it's an out of box scenario which is not in our control.
Some extreme case.
So now for an example, now that's a good example that the OTP need to come to your mobile and the mobile is switched off, or you don't have mobile network, and so you're working from your internet and the internet was gone. So these are the external factors, test cases, which we will be fall into the edge cases. Okay, so now always you need to remember that. So okay, what do you mean by negative cases?
When we give invalid data rather than checking with the valid data, that would be a negative case.
It is not related to according to requirements.
It is not relevant according to the requirements. What do you mean by that?
I mean, we will give the negative test data. Then we will test whether it is pass or not.
See, if I have two parameters, how many combination of test cases I'll be getting it?
8.
If it is 3?
6, 12, or
6, 3 means
12, maybe 3.
See, always this is a formula. So that's the reason I'm asking you to go through the videos. These things you'll never get it in any Google. So these are based on the experiences we need to get it. So let's just give me 1 second, please. Just give me 1 minute. See, always it would be like 2 to the power of that particular parameters. Now, if I have 2 to the power of 2. So if I have 2 parameters, then this would be 4. 2 to the power of 3. So 3 is if I have the parameters. Now this is 2 to the power of 3 means
6.
8.
8.
8.
See, 2 to the power means 2 into 2 means 2 times 2. Then it is 4. 2 to the power of 3 means 2 into 2 into 2. If it is 2 to the power of 4 means 2 into 2 into
16.
2. So now these are the combination parameters you'll be getting it. So means these many test cases you need to write. So this is the thumb rule. Now example to show this one is we have the truth table, right? If you have two parameters A and B, C is your output. True, 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 false, false, true, false, false. So now you have union and then intersection. This is union and intersection. If it is union means when I pass the right username, right password, the output would be true. Then in any of these particular cases, this is false. Means if I pass the wrong username, if I pass the wrong password, wrong username, wrong password, it will not go to the home page. Now this is what my positive test cases, and these are the things which it is called by negative test cases. Okay. So these all validations, you need to validate it. So now these all the things are the validations. So always you need to remember that it need to be a positive scenarios, negative scenarios, edge cases, and then usually with this particular edge cases, you would be having the another one is the field verifications, field validations. What do you mean by field validations? Field validations is nothing but all your BVS will comes into the picture. Field means it might be anything, means any particular GUI object, either it's a text box, link, or radio button, checkboxes, anything. For example, if it is a text box, for this particular text box, for this will be considered as a one field or one object. This can be called as field verification or object verifications. So now here what we will be doing it in the positive workflows and the negative workflows, you'll be testing that one thoroughly. Means I entered the username, I entered the password, whether I click this particular button, went to the home page or not. In negative validations, I have taken these all three validations. Now in the field verification, what I'll try to do is I'll see the BVA, means min, maximum, means I'll, for an example, that particular field will take the characters of 8 to 12 characters. Then 8 is minimum, 12 is maximum. Now I'll be checking with min, min plus 1, min minus 1, max, max plus 1, max minus 1, and intermediate value. 7 test cases will be writing for this. Not only this particular BVA, we will also check the presence of that particular object, means whether this particular username object is present or not, whether it can be having this particular BVA or not, and whether it can be readable mode or not, whether it have the text presence in this one or not. Means for example, it will be having username inside that text will be there, right? That particular text is there or not, and then whether it can be taking alphanumerical characters or not, wild characters or not. So we will be doing all these particular things as part of field verification. See, positive means in terms of the functionality, positive workflows will be testing it. Negative means in terms of the functionality, negative will be validating it. Field verification, it is nothing but, so these about that particular object presence, and then the properties of that particular object will be validated. So that would be called as a field verification or object verifications. And the last but not least is the edge cases, which we will be trying to do on it. So this is how you need to write your test cases. And what is the difference between a workflow and a test case? What are the workflows and the test cases? Huh? What is a workflow and what is a test case?
Test case means, for
If we
writing the
take login
how
functionality means
One by one. Go ahead, Pravanya.
if we take one login functionality means that is like a workflow. We can consider as a workflow. Means test case means here we can give like a lot of like checking positive, negative. So we will give step by step steps here in test case, right? So we can consider that as a test case.
A series of test cases is known as workflow, Chris.
Good answer. See, always you need to understand this particular basic differences. Good olden days, the people used to write the test cases. Now, none of the people will be writing the test cases. They will be writing only the workflows. What do you meant by workflow means it's a series of test cases. See, example, I think recently I explained for whom I explained, I don't remember, but take the same example for this one. Test case means, for an example, I have the same functionality. I'll take the same example of Amazon. Now, what I'll try to do is I need to open the browser. And once I open the browser, navigate to the URL. And then once I'm navigated to the URL, I'll search for certain kickboxing bag. Okay, so that kickboxing bag, I was looking for it, and then I chosen it for 4.5 feet to 5 feet, and I have been selected the color, and then I have been taken the weight for 20 kilos, and then I have been added this particular product to the cart, and then I have been checked out this one, and then I selected my address, and then I had done my payment, and I'd seen the thank you page. Now this is a complete workflow. Now test cases for this one: opening the browser, navigating to the URL, search for a product. This is one test case. This is search functionality test case. And once you're searching, then selecting the size, color, these things as one size, one particular test case, means product selection is one test case. And doing the payment for this one, this is one particular test case. And validating whether we reached the thank you page, one test case. Combining all these test cases, which it is called integration testing. So we will be writing this one. So this is called workflow. The basic difference between a test case and the workflow, it would be like an end-to-end user journey. What is the advantage of this one is, so we are, see now you remember, right? So the unit level, module level, integration level. So we are writing the test cases here, and we are writing the test cases here and then testing it. It's a waste of time. But rather than writing the test cases here and then validating it, you write all the integration test cases and validate the things also here. But this particular workflow should consist of these particular things also. So now that is the reason, the classification of this one, you should have the positive workflows, negative workflows, and the third one is a field verifications. The field verifications would be at a test case levels. Because for that particular field, for example, in the login functionality, I'll be writing multiple test cases for this, writing the boundary value analysis, presence of this one, whether the text is taking it is editable mode or not. So now the title texts are present or not, whether the username and password spellings are right or not. So these all things would be validated as part of the field verifications. So now currently everything, even manual testing or the automation, these things are depends upon the workflows only. No test cases would be depend upon now. Now only that particular test case levels will be written for only field verifications or the object verifications. So always remember, you need to write it as a positive workflows, negative workflows, and then field verification test cases, and then edge cases. This also will be falls into the test cases. These two things you can write it in the form of test cases, but these two things obviously you should write it in the form of workflows. So this is how you need to do on it. See now individually validating it and clubbing. See now you can see what is the advantage of writing the workflows means I need to write individually and then I need to club it and then also do it. So two times I'm doing the same activity rather than doing this two times the same activity to save the time. So we have been clubbing the entire things into a workflow and then you are validating that particular workflow. So this is how you're going to do on this, and this would be helpful for you. So that is how this particular workflows and test cases are classified. And so now you need to know when it comes to the from the testing point of view, you'll be having functional test cases, non-functional test cases, and integration cases. But that integration cases are not called now. So that would be calling it as an workflows. So now here you can see all the positive workflows, negative workflows, field verification test cases, and edge cases. So now this is how it has to be classified. Why we need to understand this one is, first in the types of testing, when we talk about the first type of testing is smoke. So now the smoke test cases would be the part of all your positive workflows. So that is the reason you need to understand. So always you need to remember. So why I'm talking about the different concepts here is, if you understand this one, so this is the real time examples. And real time, so now all the smoke test cases would be my positive flows. And this is how it would be there. No, what is smoke now? So that is what we will be talking about it. So that's how we take each category of testing types and then we'll be talking on each. So tomorrow what I wanted to see you people is, so prepare well. So already we have been talked about functional and non-functional. Now as part of functional, there are different category of testings are there. I think there are 16 to 17 categories are there. So now you can just check. So now here you can see this image, which it talks about. So what is functional testing means types we have in it. So now we have these different categories of testing. So smoke testing, retesting, regression testing, database testing, and recovery testing, acceptance testing, ad hoc testing, component testing, UAT, all these categories will be falls into the functional testing. Now, we already discussed what is a functional testing, but we didn't discuss on the classification of the testing. So this is where we are going to touch about these particular classifications. Tomorrow, prepare well and then come back for the session. So what is smoke test? What is regression test? What is the difference between a regression testing and the retesting? We'll take one category of testing and then we'll be talking those testings tomorrow. Okay, so all these videos are available already. So go back, read well, and then come back for tomorrow's session. Okay, and then I'll tag back these particular categories of testing to the real time and then I'll talk about it. So that's it for today. Any more pointers or any more questions to me? Then thank you. Have a great day. See you all tomorrow. Prepare and then come back. As soon you join, I'll ask these questions. Then only I'll move further. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Krish.
Thank you, sir.